YouTube? It is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Saturday evening about 5:30 p.m. CST. I just wanted to do a little Saturday night sit and chat. My son is watching TV. My wife is chilling. We had a great day. We went to the new Costco and I got some new smart lights. So hopefully Brian Isakoff, my good buddy, the lighting is even better. I'm still using the light that you sent me. It's behind me, shining on me this way, which does provide a ton of light. That thing is awesome. I so appreciate it. So just wanted to record and talk about some cool things. We're going to give people a couple of minutes to get into the stream if they want and ask some questions. Let me blast everyone right here. And I think what I'll have to do is, it should have sent me an email. Check my email real quick. And usually, this is kind of, they've set up something new with OBS. Yep. Nope, that's Ian Dungeon World. There we go. You are live. Live, I tell you, live! Which is kind of cool, actually. It's, we are live. There we go. I blasted it to everybody on my Discord. I'm not going to go through and send it to all my MeWe peeps. That is fine. Disable that. We don't need that up. So there we go. So there's a little bit of a delay. There's about a 5-6 second delay for recording. But yeah, and then of course after I close down the stream, it will automatically be uploaded to YouTube, and so everybody who follows me will get notified that I've posted a new video and all that fun stuff. I have got my big Bubba full of lemonade from Costco. I'm very happy. Vita Rain, I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, it's good stuff. Chupa, good to see you, sir. Every time I see your name, man, I just think of Blade. I think it was the second Blade movie with the vampire hunters, with Chupa. You know, get him, Chupa. So anyway, it just brings back fond memories because it's one of my favorite movies. It's oldie, but every time it's on TV, I watch it when it's the unedited version because I can't stand the commercials and everything and the editing. But hope you're doing well, man. Not sure where you're at. I think you travel a little bit for work. I'm not sure. So hope everything is good in your world. Then the way for those that might be watching is this whole thing works by you guys participating. So my new iPad Mini, I gotta say, I love it. The iPad Pro is awesome. There is no doubt about it. The only problem is it is huge. I mean, it's a monster. Cristiano, ¿qué pasó? I am okay, my friend. I hope you are well. Hopefully you can hang out a little bit tonight, but I won't be offended if you have a Saturday night game. That's where I took it from. That's awesome, Chupa. So I'm going to just check the stream on my iPad because it's kind of hard to do while you're actually streaming. So bear with me for a second here because the volume's going to go wonky if I can figure this out. New technology, you know. There we go. I've turned it. Well, I should probably turn. Oops. Sorry about that. I hit my little Stream Deck button here. I'm trying to get everything set up. All good in New York. Nice. You know I'm from Brooklyn, right? I don't know if you knew that or not. I was born in the... hold on. Ooh, I apologize, guys. Sorry. I was born in the burg of Lincoln Heights. It's no longer there. Probably, as you know, if you live in New York, Brooklyn is now $500,000 $1 million homes. But when I lived there back in the 60s and the early 70s, it was all brownstones, and I know Chupa knows what a brownstone is. So yeah, so that was back in the day. All right, so let's see here. Yep. audio's working. The stream is working. Yeah, man, we are hot to trot. We are live. So we'll give it a couple more minutes if other people want to jump on. Cristiano, I hope you're having a good day, sir. And I don't know if you have a game tonight or not, but hopefully you can hang out for a little bit. Chupa sounds like hopefully you can hang out. I got some neat little things, nothing major. Well, maybe one thing kind of major that I got in the mail, and I'm definitely going to do a review on it. But just wanted to talk about things tonight and give a couple of shout-outs to these small indie publishers that have, for whatever reason, designed to support me, which is super awesome, and send me stuff, and it's always much appreciated. And it's it's so cool to do this. I mean, we're at about 720, or I don't even know how many subscribers we're at now. I don't know. Somebody go look on the channel for me. I don't know what we're at. 780 or 760. I don't even know. But yeah, it's, the support has been great. Patreon has been doing well. I don't make a ton of money off of Patreon, but it's enough it pays my internet bill, let's put it that way. Or most of my internet. It doesn't quite pay the internet bill. I think I only have 8 Patreons. So if you're not a Patreon and you want to support Mr. Mean, it's $5 a month. Let's see. Cristiano says, I want opinion do you have about the cipher system? Wow. Okay, we're gonna open a can of worms here, Cristiano. I hope you're okay with that. And everybody, Cristiano, I believe, is from Spain, so his English isn't his native language, so bear with him and be polite. And most of the meanies are awesome, but he's wanting my opinion on the cipher system. Well, I think it's an utter pile of dog shite. That's my honest opinion. I am not a fan of Monty Cook's games. Monty Cook is an awesome writer, first and foremost. Let me get that out of the way. He's an amazing game designer, but he has a cadre of people behind him helping him. My beef with Monty Cook games is that they go to Kickstarter for everything they do. And the downside to that is that it throws small indie publishers like my buddy Jay over at Feral Games Inc. and Angus over at Parallel Publishing. It kicks those guys down the list, and you don't get to see their things. Not that you don't get to see them, because obviously if you look for it you will find it, but it's not highlighted usually. It's not at the forefront of what I personally think Kickstarter should be and what I think it is. And just like everything else, Kickstarter's become a money-grubbing hub. They're making money. I mean, they're charging, I think they take 7% right off the top. So it might even be more like 8 or 9% now. I don't know the actual numbers because I've never ran a Kickstarter. I know that there is not enough, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but there is not enough interest in Mr. Mean Speaks to support a Kickstarter. And for me, I would just lose money and time and stress and aggravation. But the cipher system, it's a good system. I like it. I've played it. I've played Numenera numerous times, and I've played is it the Strand or the Stand? The kind of cyberpunkish one. I can't remember what it's called. Gods of the Fall is one of my favorite Numenera settings because I just really love the book. I love the layout of the book. I love the art. And I love the concept that you have a fragment of a god in you, and you're striving to become more and more popular, and recreate the pantheon of the gods that's been destroyed in this world setting. So if you haven't checked out Fall of the Gods for the Cipher System, it's for Cipher System First Edition. Go check it out. It's really cool. I don't know if they're ever going to update it for second edition or not. I don't know. I hope they do, but I don't think they will. But anyway, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Cipher system. I think it's a good system. I don't like the way they do skills, but that's just me. So Cristiano, I hope that, I don't know if there's anything else you want. I should say I'm more opposed to the Cipher system because of Monty Cook, not of the Cipher system. I really don't have any problems with the Cipher system except for their skill system. I'm not a big fan of the skill system, but the game itself is fine. I've played it. I do like it. I have not played the second edition Cipher system. I do have the rules on PDF. A viewer was kind enough to buy them for me and send them to me, so that was very nice of them. Thank you, Batman. I think it was either Batman or Angel's Citadel, one of the two. One of them sent them to me. I can't remember who. It might have even been somebody else. I'm old. I apologize. But yeah, I'm just more opposed to Monty Cook what I feel is abusing the Kickstarter system. I fully agree that people have every right to make money. That's, commercialism and, America, that's what it's built on. But I think when you have huge companies like Monty Cook Games, my opinion is that they don't need to go to Kickstarter to raise money to make a game. Monty Cook, his name in the RPG and book industry carries enough clout that he can go to any publishing house and say, hey, I want to put this book out. Here's the manuscript. Let's print it. Let's get it shipped and put it in stores. And he can do that. He doesn't even have to come up with any money up front. Because, just do yourself a favor. Go on Kickstarter, look at all of his Kickstarter, and just look at how much money he's drug in from all of his Kickstarters, and you will be flabbergasted at how much money he has made. Now, he doesn't see all of that money because, of course, Kickstarter is to bring the funds in to produce the product, and get it made. So he's paying for the printing and the publishing and everything. But you better believe he has enough credit and enough clout that he don't have to fork out any money up front. Whereas if you or I, if Cristiano had a game and he wanted to print it and he went to a publishing house, they'd be like, we need $10,000 up front, or or $20,000 or whatever, or we're not going to print this, because they want guaranteed return. So if the book doesn't sell, they're not out any money for publishing and or printing this book. So it's a whole big can of worms, and it's a downside of the industry, and I think Kickstarter is facilitating that negative side of it by how they work. So hey, we got Reef Archand and Gaipo Conlin. That's hot. I don't know what's hot, Gaipo, but please say so. And then Reef, hey folks, so welcome. Thanks for your honest opinion. I'm anything if not that there, Christiana. Like I said, I think it's a great game. I think Numenera and the various spin-off games are amazing. I think the production value is, are great, but they should be, right? It's Monty Cook is a major, publishing powerhouse. He's up there with WotC and Paizo, so his book should look amazing. So I just don't think he has to go to Kickstarter to get them made. I think that's the downside. I would be more apt to purchase his book if I walked into Barnes & Noble, my local bookstore, big box bookstore, and I saw his book sitting on the shelf. I would buy it that way. But because it's done via Kickstarter, I don't support him. I don't support any of his books. Do I think they're bad games? No, I don't. I think they're very good games. I like it's a novel approach. I really like it, but it's just not the method that he uses and the stress and the fatigue that he puts on the Kickstarter society or Kickstarter environment. I think is too heavy. So Nubby is in the house, otherwise known as Doug Greenskins. So Nubby's a longtime friend of mine from Arizona, and there was a time in my life where I was very poor, and I still had this hankering for RPG games. And Nubby would, I don't know if it was I think it was the goodness of his heart, but what he would do is he would buy it and give it to me and say, I'm not buying this for you. I'm buying it for me. You're going to read it and teach me the game. He did that with a number of games for me that he knew I couldn't afford. So, Michael always has a special place in my heart, and I'm one of his few gamer friends that his wife can tolerate. I don't know why, but anyway. So we got a couple people in the chat. Thanks everybody for hopping on and saying hi. There is a couple second delay, so I'm talking about things that you're just hearing right for the first time or whatever, and I'm already moved on to another subject. So that is the joy of YouTube and going live. But if there's something if there's a question or whatever you want answered, or if I can answer it, regarding the gaming industry and the things I'm going to go over tonight, feel free. It's just to sit and chat. I'm still probably going to do my Sunday morning chat, which is tomorrow morning. I just really like doing that. I don't know why. So this was just something to do. The wife's watching TV, the kids playing. Mike says we played some great games. Yes, sir, we did. And it's just a shame that I got to know you really well right before I left Arizona. It would have been nice to really, really get to hang out with you. I think it was pretty cool. So, Gaipo says, I have no idea what you're talking about, but you're so right. So if you look a little further up in the chat there, Gaipo, Cristiano Gris was asking about Numenera and the cipher. Well, specifically, he was asking about the cipher system. And I had gone on a little rant, as I tend to do. There's a reason my nickname is Mr. Mean. And basically, I had given my whole rant about Monty Cook games and the abuse I feel, strictly my opinion, that he imposes on the Kickstarter community that hurts the industry more than it helps it. Now, by that I mean if you're a straight up Monty Cook games fanboy, and there's nothing wrong with that, if that's the only game you play, then more power to you. There's nothing wrong with that. But as someone who has a plethora of games, and supports many, many indie publishers as best I can, I feel that he does a disservice because he's such a high volume seller and he makes so much money off of Kickstarter. It pushes the smaller indie press and smaller game companies down, and you don't necessarily see them because he's getting all of the limelight. And Kickstarter doesn't have any, top publishers or anything like that. I think they put a little icon on things when it's a high seller or something like that, but they supposedly they don't highlight one seller or publisher over another. So if you come out with, if Gaipo comes out with a Kickstarter, you should get just as much attention on Kickstarter as Monty Cook Games does. I don't know if that's all true or not, but we'll see. So anyway, hopefully that catches you up, Gaipo. Reef Arkand is asking, what's your take on DCC, aka Dungeon Crawl Classic? Have you played it? Unfortunately, I can't get the screen behind me because of the way my camera works, but if you could scroll up a little bit, and I might even be able to do it. Those games, it won't record my screen, but you can see that's the yellow things there on the shelf right by the white dragon. That's all DCC. That whole 1/8 of the shelf is all DCC stuff. So I love DCC. I'm a huge fan of DCC. I'm going to turn this camera back down to me a little bit because Lord knows you don't want to look at all my display art. Yes, I love DC. Dungeon Crawl Classic is amazing. I love it. I've supported just about every Kickstarter they've done that I could financially afford to do. So yeah, DCC is amazing. I love it. I think it's a fun game. I'm not a fan. If anybody that follows my channel knows, I'm not a huge fan of 5th edition D&D. I'll play it. I think it's a fun game, but it's not my cup of tea. I don't like to GM it. I am actually I'm part of the band for DCC. Mike, that shelf is 8 feet tall, 5 feet wide. So yeah, there's a couple games in there, guys, and then there's books on either side of me and containers full of RPG goodness. I have overgrown this room, to say the least. So I have to get a bigger house, which we're working on. Chupa is like, I dig DCC as well. Chupa, I know you do. And those of you new to the channel, if you haven't, obviously I'm going to tell you the old standard. Like and subscribe. Support me on YouTube, Patreon. You can do Patreon and PayPal, all that fun stuff. So I'm on Discord, and of course, if you support me on Patreon, you get a special designator on Discord, so everyone knows that you are a Patreon. And you also get first dibs in any games I run online. My VTT of choice, virtual tabletop of choice, is Foundry. Yeah, and I love Chivalry and Sorcery. In fact, Mr. Stephen Turner of Chivalry and Sorcery is a proud member of the Meanie Army and is also my GM for an online Chivalry and Sorcery game that we will be running, I believe, December 12th, and we're going to stream it. So stay tuned for that. I'm hoping everything will go fine. Stephen is a amazing GM. He's a grognard like me. Actually, I think he's a little older than me, but not by much. But Steve is an amazing master of the industry, and he runs an amazing chivalry and sorcery game. And he is the current owner of the IP, and he owns Britannia Games, which is the current publisher and distributor of chivalry and sorcery. So you want to come check that out and play with the designers. Hopefully Nasser Super Beast, who's a longtime friend of the channel, knows a ton of people in the gaming industry. He's over in Bahrain, over there on the other side of the world, so it's probably super early in the morning for him right now, so he's probably in bed. But Nasser will be playing. Maza will be playing as well. He's also on my Discord. He is also a publisher of some cool OSR type games. So yeah, we are going to give some chivalry and sorcery some love. I'm very excited. Their Land of the Rising Sun Kickstarter was amazing if you're into Japanese mythology and history, because one of the things about chivalry and sorcery, it is very historically accurate, and it just throws a touch of fantasy in there. And then of course they did their bestiary, which has all the folklore creatures from England and the surrounding areas. So really cool, really neat stuff. So definitely check those out if you can. So what's on the agenda tonight? Well, I got this in. First of all, I'll put this up on the screen, and you can pause it and snap a picture of that QR code there. Pangea is in Kickstarter right now. It's by Atlas Games. I had a chance to do an interview with the young man from Pangea who wrote it. The author, super nice guy. His name escapes me right now, but it's I'll try to put a link in the show notes, or it's one of the recent interviews that I did. Super nice guy. So 5th edition role playing in the age of dinosaurs. So you can play saurians, you can play dinosaurs, dinosaur men, so to speak. So yeah, so if you love your 5th edition and you want to play in a little different environment with really shamanistic magic and stuff, Pangea, I highly recommend it. So I was at the convention Game Holcon, and they had these out there, so I picked one up, and at the time I didn't know what it was, so it's pretty cool because I did the interview with him after the convention. Sean Davis, good evening. Good evening to you, sir or ma'am. I'm assuming Sean is a male, but I never like to assume, but judging by the spelling. But I do know a female named Sean, so I know that sounds weird, but I'm a weird guy. So the first thing I got in the mail, I think a week ago, was Ebb and Flow. For those of you that don't know, Mr. Mean supports a lot of different RPGs, and I'm a big fan of Slay Industries. And so I kickstarted, I backed the 2 new Kickstarters. I am correct. Thank you, Sean. Well, good evening, sir. Slay Industries is an awesome game. It's about 25 years old now. I have the original version. I have the reprint. And now I have the new version. I got to say, I really like it. I know Angus over at Parallel Publishing is not a huge fan of the new mechanics, but I think they're better than the old mechanics myself. So we will agree to disagree, and Angus is awesome. If you haven't checked out Parallel Worlds, go do yourself a favor, go on Drive-Thru RPG and check it out. They got, I think, 25 or 26 issues. It's a fanzine. You download it as a PDF. They're only a couple of dollars, and there's all kinds of material in there, and they have previews up so you can look and say, oh, well, issue 7 doesn't have anything that pertains to me, but issue 8 and 9 do, so you can buy them individually. But they're going to a quarterly subscription and a Patreon subscription, so I think it's going to be the first Patreon Mr. Mean backs. Because all of my spare income goes into backing Kickstarters and buying RPGs off the shelf, so I don't really have a lot of spare money to do Patreon. But I do appreciate it. I do appreciate my Patreons. But Ebb and Flow is a fanzine done by this young lady. She's a huge Slay Industries fan, and she did this fanzine, and it's really well done. The art in it is pretty cool, and she just put it together. She's got a nice interview in the back with let me see where the interview starts. Man, it's the long interview. Come on, get to the beginning here. Real-time capsule. An interview from 2019 with Chris Shepardson followed by a 2021 update. So yeah, really cool. Just a little fanzine. It was, I think, God, I want to say it was like $8 to back this, and because it hit all its stretch goals, we got a ton of really cool stickers. So there's one of the stickers, and this is all from the world of Slay. So if it doesn't mean anything to you because you're not familiar with Slay, that's okay. But it's pretty cool. It's their take on the art and everything. So it's just creepy cool and fun. There's a carrion, which they're like humanoids that have been mutated and have gone really crazy. And there's Halloween Jack. He's the #1 contract killer on TV in the future, and that's him sneaking in somebody's window or something. And then, of course, appears to be a wraith or something like that. I'm not sure, but just cool stickers. And then, of course, the card, and you can download it at timeoftribes.com. So give it a second, at timeoftribes.com. So very cool, little Kickstarter thing. It says, again, supporting the tiny publishers on Kickstarter. So ebb and flow, check it out, Time of Tribes. You can pick up your copy. I think it's really cool. And then, God, these two are a toss-up because I want to give them both a lot of time and we have no time limit. And feel free, obviously, guys, no obligation to stay and watch. If you got to drop out, you got your Saturday night game or whatever, please, whatever. I just appreciate everybody tuning in, and I thank you very much. So Elton reached out to me, and he had ran a Kickstarter, and he runs a little gaming company called Tower House Creative, and you can find their website at, if I can, www.towerhouse@creative.com. So towerhouse@creative.com. And he created a D20 die called the Fate Mill. And that little icon there with the skull and the light bulb coming out of it, he also made into a sticker, which he promptly sent me. And sir, Elton, I'm going to tell you that this is going to go on the top of my laptop, my streaming laptop, which is also my gaming laptop. So thank you very much. He also sent me a nice little letter, and he says, I hope this finds you well. And I think all the Kickstarters got this letter. He did send me a personalized letter, but that's personal. I'm going to leave that out of it. But this is the one he sent to all of his followers, or all of his Kickstarters. Enclosed is what I can only describe as a device of strange and curious powers. My team and I found it lying cobwebbed to a table. Scrawled on a tag affixed was the Fate Mill. Before I could stop him, and to my astonishment, my man Stuart, strong but superstitious, picked it up. The mill wheel creaked to life as it completed revolutions. The bulb flared, his face alight. Mr. Stewart then looked directly into the device's jeweled eye. Seemingly stunned, he dropped it and fled, mumbling something incoherent. It's been 3 days since Mr. Stewart fled the tower. In the evening, some team members have claimed to hear what they described as despondent jabbering coming from the woods. I've yet to hear it and have assured them it could be one of many perfectly harmless animals. The device may not be much more than a parlor curiosity. I assume the device works from the resonant heat given off by the hands. I've yet to make it react as violently as it did with Mr. Stewart. Something may have come loose when he dropped it. I entrust a person of your discerning and experience may, I expect, be able to unlock its secrets and in time find a use for it. Best regards, Harold S. Trent, lead investigator, Team Tower House. So kind of a nice little, role play, cool thing that he put in there. And the thing was, I guess he only made so many of these. There were 245 of them made in the first batch. He signed it with his name, and I have number 7. So number 7 of 245. So thank you so much. And basically, if I can get that to take my fat face out of the... If I can get it to... I don't think it's... I was just telling someone how awesome this camera is, and now look, it's being a dipshit. So it's a standard D20. So you can roll it just like a D20. You could use it in your D&D games. Ooh, I rolled a 19. I am lucky. Yes, and so this is a storytelling device. It's something to help you run your game. So the players go left when you wanted them. The adventure said they had to go right, and they want to know if there's anything down that hall, and you're like, fuck, I don't know. So you can roll the die, and you can go, no, it's a 5, and you can leave it arbitrarily to the dice. So it's almost like if you've played Dungeon World, where the key thing in Dungeon World is and. The players say, well, are there dragons down here? And you can say yes or no, and then the players have to kind of give you some feedback and tell you a little bit about the dragons. So it's a system that gets everybody involved in the role playing. So really cool. Elton, thank you so much. Number 7 out of 245. I am very, very honored that you sent this to me, and I can only assume he found my YouTube channel. He said in his personal note to me, he watched a couple of the videos and he enjoyed them, and he thought that I would get a kick out of this. Well, sir, you were absolutely correct. So Elton, from the bottom of my pitless heart, thank you so much. It was very kind of you to send this to me. And like I said, the Fate Mail sticker is going on my laptop. So when I'm sitting in a coffee shop and someone says, hey, what's that cool sticker? I'm going to show them your website. So thank you so much. Super cool. It also came with this little certificate, and it tells you he made an extra D20 table that you can use. Yes, it is like the fate chart from Mythic. Yes, very much, Mike. And then he gives, if you have bad eyes like Mr. Mean, because this is really tiny text on here, he has it sprayed out what each number means. So you could attach this to your GM screen, and you could cut that little part out. Although I wouldn't cut it because in my case he did sign it, and so I thought that was pretty cool. So so very cool. I think this is, it's just super neat. There's just no other way to put it. It was very nice of him to send this to me. I like the presentation of it. I like the little story with his man Stuart going insane, it appears, because he saw his fate, I assume. And I love the sticker. Kind of got that Aztec wonky looking feel to it. Or Day of the Dead, De la Morte. So very excited for this. Like I said, it's going in my GM bag, and that will get used quite a lot, I think, for my game. The other thing I got, that guy reached out to me via email. For those of you that want to contact me, my email is mrmeanspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send me email there, hate mail, whatever. It's all good. I need a laugh every now and again. James over at crumblingkeep.com. And Nubby, this is going to be of particular interest to you, good sir. And I think I will talk with you offline, and I will have you send me your address, your mailing address, and I will pass this on to you after I get to play with it. And I'm going to do a review on it because James was nice enough to send this to me. It is called, let's see, I want to get the name right. What is it? Bear with me 1 second. I got a Ziploc bag here with a bunch of cards in it, so I'm not sure. Yeah, so I'll just pull one card out. So it's Crumbling Keep, and it's Marching Order, a solo or co-op dungeon delve, and it's called Marching Order, and it's from crumblingkeep.com. So let me take James's. James over here reached out to me on my Mr. Mean Speaks Gmail, and he sent me a message and said, hey, I make this game. I watched a couple of your videos, and I think you'd get a kick out of this, so I'm going to send you a copy. And he told me a little bit about it, and I was like, shit, I'm sold. Send it. And so it's 2 different books, and these are 2 different games. So you got these, and it's Mud and Blood Edition. The art is fantastic in here, guys. If you like, I think it's Darkest Dungeon is the computer game. It has that kind of art in it. So let's see. And it's kind of a choose your own adventure almost, but it has, I'm trying to find some, there's a lot of art in here, but it's all black, so it's kind of hard to stick out. It won't look good when I hold it up to the camera. Oh, yeah, here we go. So there's a were-rat. So, yeah, and so it comes with this big deck of cards, which are all the antagonist, right? I think so, yeah. Anyway, they're the bad guys. And then there's a couple cards for the good guys. There's a barbarian, there's an alchemist, there's a witch. Those are all player characters. And so you have your card, and you have your wounded side, and you have your ready for action side. So as you take damage, you flip it over. And that's all your stats. It's everything you need. And so I haven't read the rules yet, so I don't know exactly how it plays. But there's the Delver's Guide and the Rogue's Handbook. So I'm assuming this is kind of like your GM book adventure, and this is for the players. I'm not quite sure yet. But the art, I'm just going to hold them up there so you can see the get full. Look at that art. Is that cool or what? So those are neat. I'm super stoked. This is a solo play. You could play it with other friends or co-op Dungeon Delve. So it's kind of like a board game in the form of books. You can get yourself a little grease mat, a little 1-inch hex grid map or a square grid mat, and you can put it out and you can run this. But what's so cool about this is in this pandemic age that we're in, this is solo play too. So like guys like Mike, we were talking I think Thursday night. And Mike was, saying that, like the game store where he lives is kind of desolate right now. So he just does a lot of solo play, which is totally awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. And it feeds your itch for, gaming and stuff like that. I'm currently knee deep into 5 parsecs from home. And I can't wait to run getting ready to run my first adventure. I'm getting my miniatures together. I'm actually going to paint some stuff, Nubby. I promise I'm going to get some stuff painted. Next Friday is my day off, so I'm going to. I have a 3-day weekend, so I'll have the house to myself. And I said I got nothing to do. I'm not going to plan anything, and I'm gonna get up and I'm going to paint. I'm going to get up when the wife leaves for work and takes the kid to school, and I'm going to fire up my airbrush. I'm going to get a bunch of stuff primed, and I'm going to get some base coats on some miniatures. Yes, Mike, like 4 Against Darkness, very much so. But the production quality is really nice. These books look like they'll hold up really good. They are glue bound. They're not stitch sewn or anything like that. You can see if the image stabilizes. But this is what, $20 worth of product that he was nice enough to send me. So, I mean, the gamer community is just so awesome. This is the bottom line. And this guy, and what's cool about this is a guy that has a day job, working his ass off, did a Kickstarter, or it's about to go to Kickstarter. So you can support this on Kickstarter. I'm going to fully support it. I'm going to, even though I have a copy, I'm going to support it as best I can on Kickstarter. And I hope you guys do too. And as soon as I get links for the actual Kickstarter and everything, I'll post them. Mike, if you went to their website, I went to their website last night and I just don't remember. I'm sorry. I've been looking at so much stuff. I don't know if you can post a link in the chat, if they have their Kickstarter page reserved yet or not. But no big deal. Either way, guys, do yourself a favor. Go check this out. It is super cool. So, Marching Order, kind of like your Darkest Dungeons computer games, but you can play it by yourself. If you got miniatures, you can use miniatures. If you don't have to. You can just route it out on a piece of paper and you can go for it. So, super cool, really imaginative, and I'm surprised something like this hasn't come out sooner. And maybe it has, and I just haven't seen it because there's so much stuff out there that it's just so hard to keep track of it. But I just thought that was really cool. And like I said, James reached out to me and said, hey, can I send it? Fajuk is here. What's going on, sir? Okay, so Mike says that they have the PDF for the main rules. So is it purchasable or is it just a free download right now? Because I'm pretty sure he said he was going to Kickstarter. Message retracted. Okay, Ryabin. Be that way. And hello to you. If you're secretly Fajuk, then I know who you are. But yeah, pretty cool. Support it if you can. I think it's neat. And then last but not least, this came in the mail yesterday. I've seen a lot of hype about it, so I wanted to get on it myself and take a look. And I'm kind of glad I did, because to be honest, this is kind of a game. Mike says you can purchase the rules, so that's awesome. But I think, like I said, I think they are going to Kickstarter, and you'll be able to get a bundle. So hopefully that is the case. I'm going to actually try and see if I can get James on the channel to do an interview, because I think it's so neat that he did this. But, bam! Aliens, Colonial Marine. This is by Free League, and it's for their Alien game, which I have my issues with the Alien game, but it's a good game. So I like it. I like what they did with it. I love that they got, the art and the right to do all the movie pictures and stuff like that. So it's really good. I think the book's a little too dark, though, as far as like trying to read something. Maybe it's just my old eyes. Maybe you guys are like, oh, that book is gorgeous or whatever. And it's fine. I think it is gorgeous, but I just think the book itself is dark, and it just doesn't lend itself to reading well. And this has the same problem. But man, is this thing a tome? 352 pages. This thing is a beast, guys. And I really hope Free League jumps on the boat with Paizo and does pocket editions. I really, really do. I don't know if they would have to do some different layout, though. But I hope they do, because these are just too heavy to lug around. I mean, you could put the PDF on your tablet, and I love my iPad. I have an iPad Pro, but it's a beast. The iPad Pro is huge. I mean, it's 12.9 inches, man. It's a monster. And I have the iPad Mini, which is also awesome. But then, it's a much smaller screen. But I think on the Mini it would work. I'd have to try that. I have the PDF rules, so I'll have to see. And then, last but not least, while I was at Gamehole Con, I picked this up off of one of the dealers, Phylactery. I'd never heard of this. This is PX, so this is all you OSR nerds out there, which I'm kind of sort of one. This is published by Planet X Games. Words were by Levi Combs. The cover's by Ed Bickford. And then Bickford, Lawrence Hernandez, Adrian Landeros, and Jay Shields did a lot of the interior art. I don't know if I just got lucky and I grabbed a good issue, but man, there are so many cool ideas in this little zine, called Phylactery. And the art's not bad either. I mean, I love the goblin zombie with an arrow through his head. How can you go wrong with that? But this is just a whole bunch of different little scenarios and charts and just cool shit. And then their next issue was called, because no one demanded it, the pulse-pounding, critical hit-dealing second issue of the Phylactery is coming soon, Planet X Games. So that's the real reason why I bought it, is I picked it up. The cover kind of attracted my attention, and then I flipped it over without even looking at the contents and inside, and I read, because no one demanded it, and I said, oh, I gotta buy it now. It made me laugh. I thought it was funny. So yeah, lots of cool stuff in here. If you haven't seen it, Planet X Games, Phylactery. I don't know if they have a website. Published under the Open Games content. I don't see a website, so that kind of sucks. But the art is pretty solid. Like, here's the Chaos Throne. This thing is pretty cool. Chaos is the law of nature. Order is the dream of man, by Henry Adams. So very cool art. So yeah, so definitely, if you get a chance to pick these up, and it's not just for OSR. You could use this in your D&D game. You could use it in your Pathfinder game. It's generic charts. There's no like specific rules, that kind of thing. So like, there's a bunch of magical items that you can make fit in your game. Like, I'm a huge Pathfinder GM, so I can make this easily fit into Pathfinder. So yeah, that was the other thing I picked up at the con that I was super, super happy with. So I got my lemonade and my Big Bubba. So what else is going out there in the gaming world? Anybody playing in any interesting games? Anything anybody wants an opinion of or my thoughts on? Since we're just hanging out and chatting, I don't even know how long we've been on. We started at 5:30, so we've been on for about 45 minutes, which is pretty awesome. Raya Ben, any questions? Mikey, any questions? Chupa, Sean, anything? Any games on the horizon that you're excited for? Any gaming conventions in your area that you're excited? Of course, the last year was pretty shitty for conventions. I was pretty excited to be able to go to Gamehole Con. I will say the only rub was that we had to wear a mask while we were inside the convention hall, which I'm totally fine with. I just hated wearing a mask. It was hard to breathe, and obviously it was hot, and I moved to the Great White North to be cold. I don't like being warm. So that part was uncomfortable, to say the least. But the convention itself was a blast. I had a really good time, so I definitely enjoyed it. I don't know what else is going on. Hopefully, people have some Saturday night games that they're doing. Let's see. Mike says, I'm buying stuff. Well, Mike, what are you buying? You can't just leave it open-ended like that. You could be buying a blow-up doll for all we know. You got to give us a little more context there, buddy. I'm not kid-friendly, by the way. I'm a very sick and demented adult, and I apologize. Actually, I don't apologize. I am who I am, and I'm proud of who I am. I'm a gamer. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I'm Mr. Mean. You can probably hear my kid in the background screaming about helicopters, because for some reason he's at that age where helicopters are magical. And it's pretty awesome. We had a fun day. Went to Costco today. Bought some. My wife got some clothes and some fun stuff, and we bought some groceries. And tomorrow we'll go to Aldi, our other favorite grocery store, and pick up some vegetables. So that's about all that's going on. I think we'll do Sunday morning chat. Fate. Oh, you're buying the Fate Mill dice. Hey, if you have a link, throw it in the chat. Other people might like it. I thought that die was really neat. And for him to send that to me out of the blue, I'd never heard from the guy before, Elton. So again, Elton, if you watch this, super awesome, sir. Thank you. I'll try to, the video will automatically be uploaded, but I can go in and obviously edit the notes. And I'll go in and try to put links to everything that I can. I just thought it was super cool that this guy thought enough to send me, that die. And I'm totally going to use it. I'm taking a break from GMing. My buddy Bobby is going to take over the reins. He's never GM'd before, so I want to give him a lot of encouragement. And he doesn't really watch my streams or anything like that, so he's a nerd. He's not into that kind of stuff. So, but if he does watch it, man, kudos to you. Thanks for stepping up and giving me a break and letting me play. I'm going to be playing a Dwarven Monk. So I'm pretty excited. They're on eBay. I, right now, am not a big fan of eBay. I'm going through a dispute with a dude that I think is trying to scam me. I sold him my old MacBook Pro from 2012, perfectly working condition, no scratches, dents, or anything on it. And now he took pictures of some broken screen and trying to say that it's broken, whatever. So we're arbitrating through eBay, and eBay always sides with the buyer. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose and be minus $300, $350. So I'll have to give that money back. So, or $370, I think, because of the shipping as well. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, maybe eBay will pull its head out of its ass and side on my side, because I proved. Anyway, it's a long story. I don't want to get into it, but I've got a video proof, and if eBay gives me the proper means to dispute, I'll send that video to them. So, anyway, so Mikey's buying stuff. What's it, Ryabin? What are you doing, sir? Let's get this going. Chupa, what are you up to? Sean, what are you doing? Reef, I hope I'm saying that right. Reef, Arkand, and Gaipo. I don't know what you guys are up to. We got like 7 people watching, so that's pretty cool. I got new smart lights. Did I mention? I did mention that at the beginning of the video. I gave a shout out to Brian for the other light. You guys got to interact with me, man, or I'm gonna have to shut the stream down. I don't, I got nothing else to talk about. I showed you all my goodies. I got a tower, a wizard's tower in the back there. I need to paint. Mikey, can I send that to you to paint? It's too small of a scale. I wanted to use it for Frostgrave when we were playing Frostgrave, but the scale's just slight. I wanted it to be a little bit bigger. It's nice. But and each level comes off, but it's a little too small for the scale that I wanted. Like you can't fit more than like 4 people in a level, so it's not obviously to 28mm scale. And I refuse to buy the WizKids WotC one that for like $349. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Although it is chunky, but they give you a cardboard base, which I thought that was stupid. They could have made the base out of something better than laminate or something. I don't know. I do use the WizKid terrain, though. I gotta say, I do like that click together terrain. It's almost like Dwarven Forge, but it's WizKids made out of their proprietary plastic or whatever it is they use. That stuff, I've used it for a number of games, and it's a lot of fun. It's really neat to use. So we're down to 5 viewers, so 2 people dropped. So I don't know who dropped out. It doesn't tell you who dropped. But, yeah, we're up to 971 subscribers, by the way. So if you're new to the channel, please give a like and subscribe. Help support it really means a lot. Believe it or not, the YouTube algorithm goes off of your number of subscribers and the amount of time that is watched. So you can help the channel out by just putting my videos on in the background, mute the volume, and let them play. That really helps out the channel, believe it or not. I know it sounds so silly, but the YouTube algorithm looks at those things and how much time people watch. Because a lot of people will watch, and I'm guilty of it too. I'll watch like 5 minutes of a 20-minute video and go, no, I'm done. It wasn't what I was looking for or whatever. So, yeah, really helps out the channel. Just let it play in the background. If you're working or whatever, you're futzing. A lot of people are working from home nowadays. I work from home on Thursday, so let's see what else. Ooh, I got a hot topic we can talk about. Pathfinder Nexus. Is anybody else pissed about this, or is it just me? Not a fan of where they're going. If you don't know what Pathfinder Nexus is, Brian Bradford, I think it's Brian Bradford, was the lead developer behind D&D Beyond. And he left, and he took a number of people with him to spin off this Pathfinder Nexus thing that's working with Demiplane. And it's actually Demiplane. And you may not know what Demiplane is, because it's a cool service in one aspect, and it's super lame in another aspect, because it is not a VTT. You can play games on there. You can run games. You can do voice and video, and they're still working the bugs out quite a bit, but it is somewhat stable. But here's the thing. I have been watching your videos. Thanks, Mike. Well, like I said, you don't have to sit there and watch them. Just put them on play and let them run in the background. Turn the volume down and, just minimize the browser. To be honest, that considers as watching, and that helps the YouTube, that greases the algorithm. Also the likes and the subscribes. But Mikey's already subscribed, so I thank you, Mikey. And Chupa's been a long-time subscriber, so Chupa's awesome. And he always jumps in and says hi when I'm online. Here's a little boy. Oh, he ran away. Sorry, you didn't get to see the little monster. But anyway, Pathfinder Nexus, Brian Bradford and his crew spun off from D&D Beyond, which, you got the remote. I don't need the remote. Thank you. Well, he brought me the remote. My wife was cooking dinner, so trying to keep him entertained while I'm streaming, so he doesn't. You are entertaining. Well, thank you, Mike. I try to be. I'm a big nerd, and I know it. I have it, honey. I have the remote. My wife's like, where'd you put the remote? Because he's 4.5 years old, so he could end up in the toilet for all we know. You got to be careful. But, of course, with the amount of shit that's on TV, it's probably the appropriate place to put the remote. But anyway, I digress. So Pathfinder Nexus, Adam Bradford, that's his name. Adam Bradford spun off from D&D Beyond, and he created Demiplane, or he's one of the people behind Demiplane. Now, Demiplane is a service. It is technically free to play role-playing games on. It is a voice and video system. It has some die rolling. There's no 3D dice at the moment. It's all text-based dice rolling. And the point is, they're trying to be the new hub. They're trying to be like Discord. But it's not an always-on chat interface. You have to create a game room. You have to create a game, kind of like how you do in Roll20, and then you invite people to your game room. And now, one of the neat things, and one of the ways they're sustaining themselves, is they are allowing for paid games. So in other words, I'm a GM, and I'm going to run Dungeon Crawl Classic. And so I do an ad basically where I create a post just like you would on like Fantasy Grounds or Foundry or Roll20, and it's searchable. So all these games will be listed when you, like, say you do a search for DCC, you'll see all of the games on Demiplane that are listed, and you can click on them and you can say, oh, that's a pay-to game. I don't want to do a pay game. You can even filter out via free or pay for GM or pay to play, so to speak. But there's free games too. I don't want it to sound too negative. There are free games, and you can sign up to run free games if you live in the middle of bumfuck Egypt and you have no gamers around you and you want to just run games. It's a good resource for that. I don't, and it's been in beta for quite a while, and I was on it. I checked it out, but I think I got like one or two people to sign up for my games. But then again, I don't run D&D. I run Pathfinder, I run DCC, I run Star Wars by Fantasy Flight Games. I don't run the super popular games. I run what do I run? Edge of the Empire and I got so many games. I don't even know what I run, guys. I run a shitload of stuff all the time. Fallout. So I'm running these games that aren't necessarily mainstream, and these people are, they've got a lot of people on there. But anyway, the point is that Demiplane is starting up almost kind of like a Discord slash a very weak enabled virtual tabletop. Without the tabletop, but it does have a dice roller in it, and you can share files. So anyway, they went into cahoots with Paizo. And everybody who's followed this channel for any amount of time knows that I'm a huge Paizo fan. I mean, I have a ton of Paizo's books. I mean, I think if how can I do this? That's all Paizo books there on that top shelf. You can see right there. That's all Paizo books. That's all the latest Paizo books. So I'm a huge Paizo fan. I'm on their auto ship, which gives me and let's segue into what Pathfinder Nexus is. Pathfinder Nexus is a pay-for service to run games. Now, you can run games on there without any of the books. There's the free introductory book that they have right now, which basically it just tells you about what Pathfinder 2nd Edition is. It doesn't give you any stats or anything. There's no monsters in it. There's no, ancestries to create your character or anything like that. So it's kind of worthless. It's just a primer to show you the layout of how their PDF manager is going to work. And so what has to happen is if you want to run Pathfinder on Pathfinder Nexus, you have to buy all of the books as PDFs from from Pathfinder Nexus. Now, that in and of itself is fine. If you're a new GM and you are not financially invested in any of the Paizo products, well, this is a win-win for you. Now, caveat, when you buy the books through Pathfinder Nexus, you pay full price for the PDF. So it's, I think, not full price. It's $39.99 for the core book, the core rulebook of Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which I believe it's $39.99 on Paizo's website. So then that's to buy the PDF that you could use anywhere, right? And as a Pathfinder subscriber, I get that book for free. I get that PDF for free. I've bought the physical book from Paizo, and they have sent me, along with my physical purchase, they have sent me the PDF copy as well. That's what you get for being a Pathfinder subscriber, which is what I am. I knew when I did the beta, and then I read what the changes were going to be for the very last part of the beta. I said, this is a game for me. I want to invest in this. I want to follow it. And I love Golarion. I love the Paizo world of Golarion that they've set up. And so I said, I'm into this. Hold on one second, guys. Did you open any windows? sorry, crisis averted. Our fire alarms go off when we start cooking steak, so I had to go open up some windows, or else fire alarms would be going off, and you guys would think I'm burning down the house. So anyway, in order to do the Pathfinder Nexus, you have to buy these books, which is fine. Again, I don't have a huge beef with that. But the beef I have is they're giving you a $10 discount if you already own all these books, because here's the caveat. When you buy the Pathfinder Nexus books, you can't use them anywhere except within the Pathfinder Nexus application, which will work on your computer, your Mac, your tablet, or whatever, which is great. Alexander D'Angelo, hey, what's going on, man? Ooh, the Fate Mills on Etsy as well. Awesome. Thanks for that information, sir. And so here's my beef. I already own all of these books. Right, I legitimately, legally own all of the PDFs that I have purchased from Paizo as part of my subscription, right? And I shouldn't say purchase, because I didn't actually buy the PDFs. The PDFs come to me for free for being a Paizo subscriber. So I pay full price for a book. So what that means is if I buy the book from Paizo, say it's $29.99, but you go on Amazon, you'll find it for $24.99, right? Or maybe Miniature Market, which, shameless plug, I'm a huge fan of Miniature Market. But you have to pay shipping at Miniature Market. Amazon, you can get the book cheap, but usually half the time it comes mangled. That's a story for another time. So I said, you know what, screw it. I want the PDF as well as the physical book, and I don't want to have to go. I'm not a big fan because of my channel and what I do. I don't like to support piracy. I want to legitimately say that I own all of these PDFs. So the only logical solution was to just join the Pathfinder subscription service and get those PDFs. That's their incentive to buy the books at full price instead of going to Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com or whatever. So solid, cool, awesome. I have the PDFs legitimately. I got them. They're mine. But in order to use them on Pathfinder Nexus, I have to rebuy them. You saw they've got like 15 books out now, I think. Something like that. I got to rebuy all those books if I want to use them. So they're behind what we call in the software industry a paywall. And in order to use them, you have to pay. So, okay, I've proven to Pathfinder Nexus that I own these PDFs. They give me a $10 discount. So that $39.99 rule book now costs me $29.99. All of their other books, their Splat books, are usually $39.99. So they're going to cost me $29.90. Some of them are $29, so I'm going to get them for $19. Anyway, the base thing is you're looking at like $340 to get invested. If you're a GM and you want all the books, it's going to be a big chunk of change, and you may well already own them now. The reason you need them is in order to use the character builder that's going to be inside of Pathfinder Nexus. So again, remember, there's no map, there's no dynamic lighting, there's no tokens. It is a glorified voice and video chat with a dice roller and a character builder and a character sheet, which, don't get me wrong, the character builder and the character sheet is neat, but there are several websites and several Android applications out there that are amazing for character. Path Builder 2E is amazing. It's an Android application. If you don't have it, do yourself a favor, go check it out. It is a $5 fee, and he gets all of the books, and he updates them, and he inputs them. And because Pathfinder is done under the OGL, as long as you don't include any images, you're good to go. And so, what's Chupa saying here? I dig Pathfinder 2E, but my group will only play D&D. I like D&D, but I like a break from time to time. I'm the DM. Chupa, I have found, we'll segue real quick to help out Chupa. And I think Chupa and I have talked about this before. Get some pre-gens. In fact, if you go on the path... I'm sorry, what, buddy?
Want some more Cheetos?
Go tell Mommy. He wants something more. If you go to Pathfinder.com, you can download their pre-generated characters, and they have them at like first level, fourth level. They have different levels. So if you want to give them a little taste of higher level play, I don't know how high they are in your D&D campaign, but I'm telling you, once the players get a taste of that 3-action economy and they realize that they can do a heck of a lot more than what they can do in D&D, they'll be sold. And then I think as a GM, you can do the I think he ate them all. Okay, hold on, guys. Little emergency. What? Well, you shouldn't have let him have that anyway. So they're all over the floor now. You're gonna have to vacuum the floor. Well, we'll vacuum the floor. The maid will vacuum the floor. Take that away from him and throw it in the garbage. My son has a little beaded thing that he made at school, and it's easy to tear apart evidently, and now there's tiny little beads all over the floor. And we just don't want him to pick them up and swallow them. I don't think he would. He's okay. She found them. So anyway, Chupa, download those pre-gens, print them off on a nice color printer. Even if you have to spend a couple of bucks. I don't know how your players are. My players in my Pathfinder game are pretty awesome. If I say, I got to come out of pocket like $40, they'll all chip in $5, and I've got 6 players in my group, so it's pretty solid. They'll all chip in and help me out. So, but anyway, either way, if you can afford it or you have a color print, I don't know, print off the character sheets and then just say, hey, don't say anything. Hey, tonight's D&D night. We're gonna play, but we're not playing D&D tonight. I want you guys to try this game. I'm the GM, and this is what I want to run. And give it a try. All I'm asking you to do is try it once and see if you like it. And I think once they get a flavor for it, and you give them a pretty action-oriented little adventure, and there's a number of them that you can download off of Paizo's website or anywhere. Basically, there's tons of adventures out there that you can get for relatively for free. They should be hooked. And you'll see. And even if I don't know how many players are in your group, but if not all of them are hooked, you can say, well, this is what we're playing. If you want to play, this is what we're playing. I need a break from D&D. And once they, at least for my group, and like I said, I've got 6 players. Once we started running Pathfinder, and they got into it, and they kind of, they went from level 1 to level 2, and they saw the progression level, and then they got that 3-action economy that they could do. And of course, they have Paizo Pathfinder gives you more hit points. Your armor class is a little higher, so they already a first level character in Pathfinder 2nd Edition versus D&D is night and day. D&D first level characters got maybe 8-10 hit points if he's lucky. Whereas a first level character in Paizo has 14 hit points, sometimes as much as 30 if they build it right. So it's that kind of thing. I'm just looking at the stream to make sure everything's okay, and it's chugging along. So, So anyway, back to Pathfinder Nexus. You have to buy all of these PDFs. If you're the GM, now the player doesn't have to buy anything, and they have stated that the GM can share his books. So only the GM has to pay. And again, if you have a good group, maybe you have a solid online group that you game with, maybe they're willing to chip in a couple of bucks, like maybe each player buys a book. But remember, there's no physical tangible product. You're buying what I like to call vaporware, because I don't think now D&D Beyond's been around for a couple of years now, and it's doing quite well. So they may prove me wrong, and Nexus may be around for a long time. Demiplane may be around, and I hope so, to be honest. But I am not going to rebuy all of these PDFs just for the ability to have the Pathfinder character builder enabled on my computer, basically and of course you have to be connected to the internet. You have to have a live internet connection, or you can't use it. So good luck, Chupa, if you try that. Let me know how it goes. I would love to hear it. And you know what? I'll even offer this. If your group does the online thing, I can run an introductory adventure for them. Because Foundry, there's no cost for Foundry. I've already paid the $50 up front, so I can run, and I host through the Forge, which is a online hosting service. So there should be no problem for your players, and I can guest GM for you and run an introductory Pathfinder game for you and your players. And they can all sit in the comfort of their home on their tablets or their computers or whatever, and we can play. And it doesn't matter if they're Mac or PC. It doesn't matter because they're just remoting into a server, and it doesn't matter what. It's all web-based. So let me know if that's something you want to do. I'd be more than happy to do that for you to give your players a taste of Pathfinder. So anyway, Pathfinder Nexus, like I said, I personally think it's a scam. Does not sound like a good way to spend your extra funds, Mikey says. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is like, say you, Mike. I don't think you're a big Pathfinder fan. I don't think you've ever played or you have any of the books. So if you're getting into it for the first time and you're going to be the GM, might not be such a bad idea to, buy your PDFs. But again, my problem with it is just like what Fantasy Ground, D&D Beyond did, and Roll20 did, is you can't use those books that you bought. They're legitimately your books. You bought them. You own them as PDFs. You can't look at them anywhere except on Pathfinder Nexus. You're welcome, Chupa. No problem, buddy. So you can't, if you're sitting on the subway and you don't have internet connection and you want to pull up your Pathfinder core book because you got a game tonight and you're in a subway tunnel and you don't have any service, you don't have any connection to the network, you can't look at your book. And I think that's a crock of shit, And so they say they're working on stuff, but I don't know how well that's going to go. And, they're trying to do the same pay-for model that D&D Beyond is doing. Now, the difference is D&D Beyond has hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they got in pretty early while the D&D books were still out. Pathfinder's like, how many books are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There are 16 books out for Pathfinder right now for second edition. 16 books at the cheapest, $20 a pop if you're a standing Paizo subscriber and you already own those and by already owned physical books, I mean you had to have bought them through Paizo. So you have to either be on the subscription program like I am, or you have to physically create an account on Paizo and go in there and buy each one of those books to get that $10 discount on Pathfinder Nexus. That's a crock of shit in my book. I'm not supporting it. All for the ability to be able to play on Demiplane, which Foundry does everything Demiplane does and does it 10 times better. So why would I... And now, granted, Demiplane is free, so if you're on a tight budget as a GM and you don't have... But that argument's invalid anyway, because even as the GM, you're going to have to buy those books. So that argument's invalid. If you can't afford Foundry, you can't afford Pathfinder Nexus. Because Foundry's $50. You can download the Pathfinder module for free through Foundry, and that will give you the character creation with pretty much everything up to date. There's a couple of bugs, but they are easy to work around, and the only downside to Foundry is exporting your characters. They, as of yet, don't have a cool way to print your character sheet. But they are pretty solid, and like I said, you could always do a screen capture, and there's workarounds, but there's no easy way to like hit a button to say export to PDF. That isn't an option yet, but I think they're working on it. So, and if Foundry gets that in place, if the Pathfinder development team, which these guys are all volunteers, they do it for free. If those guys enable that, they've just killed Pathfinder Nexus. So, all right. So Mike's got a question here. If you can buy the physical book and get a code for the service, that would work. No, because Pathfinder does not do that. Or Paizo doesn't do that. You can't go to Imperial Outpost and buy a copy of Pathfinder and then contact Paizo and say, hey, look, I bought this. Can I get the PDF? And you send them a copy of a receipt. No. They will send, because I know because I tried. What you have to do is you have to physically buy it from Paizo. You have to give them your credit card information, or go to their store. I think they're in I'm not exactly sure. I think they're in Redmond, Washington. I'm not sure, but you have to go there, physically buy it, and then you would get you have to create an account, and you have to link your Paizo account with Pathfinder Nexus, and once you link it, then you get the discount for the PDFs. And you can only use those PDFs inside of Pathfinder Nexus. They are not good anywhere else. Flip side, Foundry Virtual Tabletop not only gives me 3D virtual dice, which look amazing, and you can make them look like whatever you want. I get a very visual character sheet that is fully automated. It looks amazing. As a player, I get all of those tools, and then my GM can share any of his books that he wants to share with me. Now, I can't download them, so just like Pathfinder Nexus, I can only view them while I'm connected to the server, so there's no copyright infringement. There's no pirating that's enabled. But me, as a GM, I have a piece of software called PDF to Foundry. It is specifically made for Pathfinder, and what it does is if you have a legitimately purchased PDF, I can upport. So like Paizo has their APs, their adventure paths. If you legitimately buy one of those adventure paths and it's linked to your Pathfinder account, you can import it through the PDF to Foundry, and you'll get all the VTT assets that you need. Is it 100% perfect? No. I was running the Age of Ashes AP, which is the very first one for Pathfinder 2nd Edition that they did. And an AP, an Adventure Path AP, is just a pre-done adventure. It's 6 books. They're usually $20 a book. And, you run an adventure from them. They're pre-done. They usually take you from level 1 to like level 15. Some take you to level 20. So you can do that. But here's the thing. I've paid $50 for Foundry. I've bought all of my books already. I don't have any extra costs. I use PDF to Foundry. I can import all of the books that I own as PDFs, and my players can have access to them for free, and they don't have to pay a dime. Now, the same thing can be said for Nexus, Pathfinder Nexus, but I have to rebuy all of those PDFs, no matter if I own them directly from Paizo or if I've pirated them. Because let's face it, we've all done it. We've all downloaded books from the Trove. It's just, or our friend has said, hey, here's a cool game, have a copy. So it doesn't matter how you have the book. You still have to buy it from Pathfinder Nexus. Let's see here. Ovaltine Patrol. Ovaltine. That's pretty funny, dude. They started with Starfinder, but PF2 also does some 3-book paths. Yeah. Their adventure path. The adventure path started with Pathfinder 1st Edition. Rise of the Rune Lord was their very first adventure path, which turned into a collector's item and everything. And it's up there. I have it. But yeah, you're right, Ovaltine Patrol, and it's a great. If you're a new GM or you're just a tired GM, those adventure paths are amazing because they take a lot of the hard work out of it. They've got hooks in there, and then for every adventure path, Paizo comes out with a free primer that like a player's guide that your players can download, and it gives them, because most adventure paths want you to create a new character, a first level character, and then you go through the adventures from there. And it tells you, you can use the milestone. And usually each time you start a new chapter, they want you to level up. So it's kind of a lot of reward for the players. They get a lot of interactivity out of it. They get hopefully a cool adventure. My players are loving the Age of Ashes adventure path. I'm really enjoying it as a GM. So I'm highly against Pathfinder Nexus. I think, Hey, no. Sorry, my son's making a lot of noise. I'm just against it. I don't think it's fair. Now, if they gave us like a 50% discount, I might consider it, because then it would be a low enough entry point. But even still, it's a hard pill to swallow when I already legitimately physically own all of the Pathfinder books for 2nd edition from Paizo, and now you're telling me I got to go in order to use your character. And the only reason this is a point is in order to use the character builder, you have to have access to the Nexus PDFs for Pathfinder. You can't, even though you have all the stats and everything in the physical book sitting right in front of you, you won't be able to translate that into the Nexus system on your character sheet. So, but there's Path Builder 2E. That is an Android app, which is amazing, and there's some emulators for Windows and Mac, and you can run that, and it works amazingly. So, there's Hero Lab, which Hero Lab's kind of fading fast. I don't know what they've done, but I'm not a big fan of the moves they made. But that's an argument for another time. What's Ovaltine saying here? I just meant the 3-book path started with Starfinder. I've got all the Pathfinder 1 AP's on my shelf. LOL. Yeah. The 3-book paths are really cool. I don't know. Are they doing those for Pathfinder 2nd Edition? I'm not sure. The only ones I've seen are like the 6 books, that take you all the way from level 1 to roughly level 20. Some only go to level 15, but I haven't seen a 3-book one. If they do, great. I'd probably buy one of those because it's $20 a book. At 6 books, it's $120. That's an investment. But again, I buy them through Pathfinder. I get the legitimate PDF. I can upload them to Foundry, and I can run that adventure online. So I'm getting more bang for my buck. Whereas if I do the demiplane Pathfinder Nexus, I can only run it on Pathfinder Nexus. So if my player, and it doesn't cost anything to join demiplane, so that's there's the argument. There's the yin and yang of it. Demiplane is free. And like I said, I signed up for it when it first was in beta, and I thought it was pretty cool. But I realized that, Discord and Foundry can do everything this is doing and more. So why do I need this? And right now, when you go on there, I would say a good 70 to 80% of the games are all pay-for games. It's just guys looking to make a buck. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a beef with that. But how good of a game are you going to get if the GM is only on there to get paid? That's, I get it, and I don't blame them for trying to make a buck, especially if they live in an area where there's not a lot of gamers and they can't, like I live in Minnesota, in northern Minnesota. D&D is the only game in town. You can't find players to play Morkbork. You can't find players to play DCC. Nobody wants to play. They only want to play D&D. I literally had to hold my players hostage and switch the game on them on game night. We were playing Midgard by Kobold Press for D&D, and because I got the Pathfinder core rulebook, and I said, okay, we're making characters for this, and everybody's like, what? I was like, well, let me put it this way. You're either making characters for this or you can go home. This is what I'm going to run. I'm the GM. I do all the work. I spend all the money. If you want to play, fine, stay and play. And if you don't, and I did have 2 players that got up and walked out. And that's fine. I replaced them because I found other players, So don't be afraid to put your foot down. The GM usually has the financial outlay of cash, so you dictate the game. So like for my buddy Chupa that said earlier that his players won't play anything but D&D. Chupa, you're the GM. Did the players buy you those books? Because if they didn't buy you those books, tell them to kiss your ass and run the game you want to run. If you want to run different games, you just say, hey, I want to run a different game. Let's try. Be polite about it. Be nice. Don't be a Mr. Mean. But, in my case, I knew that's what I had to do because I talked to them. I said, hey, let's try PAM. No, we don't want to play. We want to play D&D. We only want to play D&D. We're 3rd level. Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, well, I sat down. I bought the books. I did a couple mock combats on my own leading up to game night, and I felt I had a good enough grasp on the rules to run the game. I showed everybody Path Builder 2E, which I'm not a fan of personally. I don't like automated builders because they inherently have problems. But this one's pretty good, and he works really good for the guy that's behind it. I've talked to him. I asked him if he was going to make an Apple version, an iOS version. He said no, there was no plans. But hopefully now it might be big enough that it might be something he'll consider. But anyway, point being, I had to hold my players hostage and basically say, okay, here's the app. Everybody had access to Android tablets at the time, and I had a spare one, which I wound up selling to one of my players because he liked the app so much, but he didn't want to go out and buy it. And I didn't like. I had a Fire tablet, Fire HD 8-inch, and I just didn't like it. It was slow and clunky. I'm an iOS guy for tablets. I'm an iPad junkie. But anyway, long story short, I had to hold my players hostage and say, this is the game I'm going to run. If you want to play, great. If you don't, there's the door. And like I said, 2 got up and left. It's fine. Well, they didn't get up and leave right then and there. They kind of hung out for the night, and then they just basically said, "Hey, we found a D&D group. We're gonna go play D&D." And I was like, "Okay, cool. No harm, no foul. Have a good one." And I haven't talked to them since. So obviously they're not good friends. So let's see what Ovaltine is saying. Abomination Vaults and Fist of the Ruby Phoenix are 3 books each. Oh, that's awesome to know, Ovaltine, because I've been looking at the Ruby Phoenix because I love monks. And if I remember correctly, the Ruby Phoenix one is the martial arts one. I've seen Abomination Vaults, but I don't know too much about it. And then he also says if the players want to dictate the specific game, maybe they should get a higher GM. Yeah, and that's what Demiplane is. If you and your friends want to play D&D and you can't find a GM, or your GM's a dick like Mr. Mean and says I'm running Pathfinder, well then there you go. Go on Demiplane and find a GM that's going to run. But by the way, be prepared to pay up to $20 a session to play. Yeah, Demiplane. I've seen it as low as $2 a session, and then I've seen it as high as $20, $25 a session. One guy had $30 a session, and most of them had links to their Foundry account, meaning, or was saying that they were going to run it via Foundry. So why am I, this is ridiculous, because you can go on the Foundry Discord and oh my good, Tower House Creations is in the room. Yes, Tower House, you are correct. Everyone at the table should want to be there. It should be fun. That is the overall argument that I have had for the last 30, 40 years of my gaming experience. We do this for fun. If you're not having fun, then why are you doing it? That's the bottom line. If you're not having a good time, why are you here? And if you're coming here to just piss on everybody's parade, I don't need you as part of my group. Get out. And I got no problem saying that to people. And I've done that. I've kicked people out of my house. And in fact, when you come to play in my games, because I'm letting you into my house, into my abode where I lay my head and I pay the bills, I usually do a gamer interview. I will meet you at a coffee shop and say, hey, what's going on? And get a feel for you. I was a police officer for 10 years. I'm a very good judge of character. I can spot a dirtbag a mile away. And so if I get bad vibes from you, I'll just be like, no thanks, man. I don't think you're what we're looking. I don't think you're going to mesh with the group very well. Good luck. I hope you find somebody, and I'll give them the local game store. And the local game store here in town does have a message board, physical arcade. Oh my God, you got to write on paper. What is this chaos, this anarchy? But yeah, you can put up a 3x5 card saying that you're looking for a GM or you're looking for a player. So I have no problem doing that. And I think that, the gamers that I have, the 6 players I have right now, I can honestly say they are my friends. And when COVID hit and we couldn't play, I was at a loss that I didn't have them there every Friday night to joke with and banter with, So yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about gaming is, these people that you hang out with every week or every other week, eventually they hopefully, in most cases, turn out to become good friends, and that's awesome. I know gaming groups that have been together for 20 years, and still play. I mean, me and Darren, my buddy D-Train, we've been gaming together for 17 years. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So, wow, Tower House is in the house. That's Crumbling Keep. I'm trying to. Tower House did the Etsy dice, right? Where did I put? I put shit away and now I can't find it. Where is it? What did I do with it? I've lost it. Insane in the membrane. I don't know what I did with it. Totally agree. Wait, did you mention the Fate Mill? That's awesome. Of course I mentioned the Fate Mill. And as a matter of fact, that's what I was looking for. I was trying to find it. I had the die and oh, here it is. Oops. That's the sound of a dice rolling. Yeah, right there, buddy. At the beginning of the stream, I gave you a big shout out. And proudly said that I was going to put your sticker on my laptop. So, yeah, awesome. And like I said, I told him at the beginning of the stream, I got number 7 out of 245, and that you had personally signed it. So, there you go, buddy. I got it in the mail. So, thank you so much. And I think it's very cool. In fact, you'll probably see a purchase go through from a Mike Wilster, who is in the chat, hopefully still. I think he was on your website looking to purchase it as well. So, looks like we got 6 people in the stream right now, so that's awesome. So, yeah. Yeah, definitely, Elton, check it out. Tower House Creative. Feel free to throw a link to your website or your Etsy store in the chat, sir. That way I can cut and paste it and put it in the show notes so that when this goes live on YouTube, or when it's uploaded to YouTube after we're done, we'll hopefully it'll drive some more business your way. And definitely join the Discord when you get a chance. And you can, I have a publishers page there, hashtag publishers. You can go in there and talk about anything new you got coming up and all that fun stuff. Yes, Mikey says he picked one up, so there you go, Elton. Another one sold. Another soul for the mill. What else can we talk about, guys? This is for you guys, so you tell me what you want to talk about. I've ranted about Pathfinder Nexus, so I've gotten that off my chest because it's a big crock of shit, in my opinion. But like I said, if you're a new GM, it's good for you. If that's your thing, but just be aware you're still going to have to use Foundry. I mean, you can use Theater of the Mind, sure. Demiplane will work for that. And you've got cameras, and you can roll text-based dice. There's no 3D dice enabled, not yet anyway. I'm sure it's something they're working on because they've got 3D dice in D&D Beyond, and Adam Bradford was the brainchild behind that, and now he's on Demiplane Pathfinder Nexus. So I'm sure it's coming. It won't be a far stretch. So we're just Elton, I do plan to get a lot of use out of it. I'm taking a break from GMing for a couple of sessions. My buddy Bobby is going to run Pathfinder, and so when I go back to GMing, probably after the holidays, I will put that bad boy to use. Hey, Super Beast, my brother from another mother. What's going on? That's Nasser. If you're on the Discord, that's Nasser Super Beast. He's over there in Bahrain. It's got to be super early in the morning for you, but I appreciate you jumping on, saying hi. Nasser is a super cool guy, and if you ever get a chance to game with him, I think you should totally do it because he's a lot of fun. Mike says, you are welcome. It will be helpful with solo play. Yeah, I think it will. Ovaltine Patrol. What a name, dude. I love it. I'm a huge fan of Skinny Minis. You can see them back there, that black. That's all Skinny Minis, and the big box on top is the bases. Skinny Minis are like flat plastic miniatures. Flat Plastic Minis is by Arc Knight Design. Those are awesome too, but they're a little flimsy, and I found that the color quality wasn't always as good. I saw that the Tree Raiser. Oh my God, that figure is amazing. It's Tree Raiser is this huge. I think it's a CR 24 or an Encounter level 24. It's this huge demon that's been basically kicked out of hell, and he's the D&D miniatures. I have a bunch of the plastic pre-painted, but I'm moving away from those, and like I said, I'm going to Skinny Mini. I did the Kickstarter earlier this year for Skinny Mini, where I got a shit ton of miniatures for them, and then I also like I said, I do occasionally buy the Arc Knight Designs flat plastic miniatures, but I feel that the Skinny Minis are a little bit better quality. But they're still both cool, and obviously Arc Knight. I think the Arc Knight miniatures are a little more expensive, in my opinion, for what you get. They're like on acetate plastic. They're durable. They hold up. They're hard to rip, but I think they're a little pricey for what you get. But the cool thing is they do themes. So like they do a Pathfinder. I have the Pathfinder spell effects. So, show and tell. These are on my channel, if you go in Ovaltine, hopefully you subscribed. I hope if you do, and if you do, thank you. These are the flat plastic, minis. You can see it's just a clear piece of acetate with a little clear base. I love the bases. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass to get them in the base, but they do work. And you can see you have a front and a back, so they're pretty cool. They're full color. Sometimes the color's not that vibrant. They also do a lot of sales where they sell the crappy shit, so to speak. I don't want that to sound too negative, but they sell the I like slightly damaged, or they didn't print exactly right, and you can get them for a big discount. So if you just need miniatures, or you need bodies, that's the way to go. But these are the skinny minis, and you get these in Dungeon in a Box, which is by dungeoninabox.com. And you can see they're a lot thicker. The color to me just seems to be a lot more vibrant. Get my big fat face out of the way. I always forget how to do this. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. So you can see front and back. So they're really good. Now, Arknight, I think it's Arknight Designs. They do the spell templates, and they do it for D&D. So if you're a D&D fan, say I'm gonna throw some love to the D&D fans. This is the other thing I did. I found this on Etsy. I'm a big fan of Etsy. So the initiative tracker, it's more for D&D, but I use it for Pathfinder. And I laminated it. I have a lamination machine at work, and so I laminated it, and so I let my players keep track of initiative, because it's one less thing I have to do. So they tell me when it's my monster's turn to go. But Flat Plastic Mini makes these templates that you can buy. You have to stipulate, if it's for Pathfinder or it's for, D&D. But you can see, and they have some writing on them to tell you, what they are. So there's a large emanation and a 10-foot emanation and a 5-foot emanation. But they have all kinds of templates. This one. And the writing on the outside there tells you what it's all for. That's 20-foot radius for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. You see the little PF2 on there, and they have everything. Like there, here's your beam, your ray of frost, and it's for. I think this is also for one of the holy spells, if I remember correctly. Yeah, lightning bolt. Lightning bolt 3, 40-12 electric damage, basic reflex save, heightened +1, add 1d12. So it even gives you the basic rules on there. It was great hanging out. Talk to you later. All right, Mikey, you have a great night. Skinny minis do look cool. Great for the GM bag. Yes, Elton, they are. Ovaltine, but yes, I am subscribed, and I clicked the like. Oh, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Ovaltine. I love the name, by the way. Tower House. Mike, I'll get that in the Fate Mill in the mail Monday. Awesome. Spell templates are a godsend. Yes, Ovaltine, they are. And like I said, it wasn't as cheap as I thought it would be, but again, it's a very specific product. I think this was like $30. Super Beast, I like the terrain ones. They have, like I saw, an airship being sold. Yeah, super cool. That 3D airship, that's super expensive. There's also a flat one too, which I think Arknight Designs does basically it's a map, but it's an airship, and then it's made to use in conjunction with their spell templates and everything. Which brand did the flat spell templates? Are you talking about these, Ovaltine? These are from Arknight Design. And I think I want to say they're $30, $29.99, I think. I would go hit the website, but it's kind of hard when you're streaming. But yeah, so there's the two miniatures. So, and again, Ovaltine, just so you get it, this is Arknight Design right here. You can see it's just like a clear piece of acetate, and the color's pretty good, and it's front and back. Get my fat fingers out of the way. You can see the one thing I don't like is you can see I've had this one for a while, so you can see around the edges that's not color, so the clear part is not so clear anymore, because they scratch a little bit, I guess. I don't know if it's age or whatever, but you can see, so they look dirty. Like that looks dirty, and for me that's a pet peeve. But again, they're a little bit cheaper than the skinny minis. But I was subscribing to the Dungeon in a Box for Pathfinder, because they do a D&D box and they do a Pathfinder box. So I subscribe to the Pathfinder 2nd Edition box, and so I get a chunk of these in the mail. And they come out, they separate, they come off the base. So there's your base, and they design these bases a certain way so that these just click in. So it's pretty easy. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but yep, there you go. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah. So, and you can see here, there's a lot less of the wasted space, so to speak. And so you don't get that smudging, that scratching, that graying, or opaque look that you do with the skinny mini or the flat plastic minis. So, your mileage may vary, but I've had these for over a year, and like I said, we've been playing Pathfinder for going on 2 years now. or over a year, a little bit over a year for Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and then we were playing D&D, and I used this in my D&D campaign. So you can see the edges are a little gray, and I haven't tried to wipe it down, and maybe it will clean. I don't know. We'll find out right now. Boop, boop. I just hit it with a little. I just happen to have some glass cleaner right here, so we're gonna. And Ovaltine says, I like my 3D minis, but I will definitely check out the terrain, spell templates, and the like. Yeah, I'm a big fan of 3D miniatures. The problem is I just don't have room. They take up, and then digging for them. The nice thing is, with these, I put them in a this is going to sound corny, but my wife is the Ziploc queen of storage. And so I was futzing with these, trying to figure out how I put them in a big bag. I had them in a small Tupperware box, and I'm digging through them, and my wife's like, why don't you just put them in Ziploc bags? And I was like, ding! And so yeah, it cleaned up a little bit. So yeah, so that's just, wear and tear from age. So yeah, I just hit it with a little glass cleaner, and yeah, it cleaned up pretty decent. So yeah. So there you go. I just got to spend a little time and maybe clean them. And these are a lot cheaper than, I shouldn't say a lot cheaper. They are cheaper than Skinny Minis. I think the quality of Skinny Minis is better, but I still like the flat plastic miniatures. And sometimes, and they also have really cool themes. So you can buy like an Undead pack. You can buy a Deadlands if you're a Deadlands GM. There's a superhero pack, which I do have if I ever one day get to run a superhero game. Because I love superhero games, but none of my players do. Now there's the difference. If you don't like a genre of gaming, like I don't particularly care to play horror, so I'm not going to force my players to play a game that they don't want to play. They didn't want to play Pathfinder. Now they're already playing D&D, which is a high fantasy game. Pathfinder's a high fantasy game. It's just different rules. Now that to me is where I draw the line. I'm like, you don't want to play a game just because you haven't tried the rules and you're just being ornery. That's one thing. But, if you don't like horror or you don't like superheroes, I'm not going to force you to play a superhero game. Ovaltine says, I use some stackable plastic bins from an office store, tape, and index cards to label what's in any given box. Yep. The Ziploc bags for those flat plastic, the Arknight ones work perfectly because you can write. They have a little spot on the Ziploc to write, what you got there. So that's what I do. So, yeah, works out great. Chupa, the smaller ones look decent, but I think the huge or larger creatures would look like a big pane of glass on the table. You know what? I'm going to say no, Chupa. They don't. They look awesome because I had a big giant golem that they had to fight in the Age of Ashes. It's basically a door that turns into like a knight, and they had to fight it. And I used a miniature. Murphy, woohoo. Someone just posted. He caught it a little bit. Hold on one second. Is this the big ones? Yeah. So this is from the last Kickstarter. Hey, buddy. Are you going to eat your food? You want can he? Hold on, guys. Can Norby have some black jelly beans? Sure. Okay, hold on. It's black jelly bean time, my son. I got a 4.5-year-old. Hey, I tell you what. You can have some black jelly beans if you come say hi to everybody. Come here. Come here. Say, look right there. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
You got to talk right here. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Say bye-bye.
I don't, Mom. Mommy is going to be low.
Okay, here's your black jelly beans. Say bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, go play. So, sorry about that. That was a photo bomb from my 4.5-year-old. So, that is, you can see this. I mean, I got meat paws. So, that's the miniature. And that's the back of it. So, yeah, I mean, it is flat, and like you said, but there's none of that extra, like the skinny minis. They all have that, they're on a big thing. So, yes, black jelly beans are the best, Elton. He's already gone. Like I said, there's a delay. But that's one of the big, this is one of the big giant miniatures. So, it would go on a huge base. So, yeah, So it doesn't, at least in my opinion, it doesn't look like a big piece of glass. Now, granted, if you're sitting and looking at it at the table from this way, it's kind of difficult. But, usually it's facing the players or whatever. But they know, once they see it, they're like, oh, my God, that's cool. So that's a big one. So, and they just recently did another Kickstarter. So they had these, which was the binder. And I did a full review of these. Ovaltine says, that's not bad looking. How do they handle long horizontal critters? Same way, they just put them on the base, and obviously if you had a 3D miniature, like well, I got the perfect example. Here's Icing Death from D&D. If you remember that from the Icewind Dale trilogy. This is Icing Death, I believe it's his name. Yeah, Icing Death. He's gargantuan size. So that's, there's the footprint that it's going to take up on the D&D table, and obviously this thing is huge, this is gargantuan size as well. So the base will be the same size base, but it doesn't take up as much 3D space. So pretty cool in that aspect. So, but I do love Icing Death. I think he's a cool dragon. I've yet to get to use him in one of my Pathfinder games, but hopefully soon. Sorry you had to see my fat ass there. I apologize. But here's a large bulle, whatever, So, yeah, front and back. So, I'm very happy with them. I can't say enough about them. Everybody's favorite, your owl bear. There you go. There's your owl bear. In the other room, I have the owl bear from, hey, the Dave. How's it going, sir? It's going great. I'm just trying to see if I have any other huge. Oh, I guess this is a good one to show. We're just going over some 2D miniatures. So there's the red dragon. So that's on a large display. It's a young red dragon. So yeah, hopefully Ovaltine Patrol, that answers your question. Like I said, I think they're pretty sweet. I don't have any super long ones yet. This one's pretty colorful. There's a large giant, a Cyclops, so you can see. Now they don't have a Pathfinder or a D&D license, so they can't obviously use the art from Pathfinder or D&D because they don't have that kind of money. But like I said, they do the dungeon in a box, and they've done a few things that I really like. So, and like I said, the art quality on these things I think is pretty solid. So here's one of my favorite. Do you need a zombie wolf in your game? Because if you can, I can hook you up. There's a nice zombie. And they say if you drop them, you don't have to worry about breaking them. If that was a lead miniature, I'd have just broke my table. So there you go. So just an idea. No problem there, Ovaltine. I hope that helps. Is it covered in treasure, Smog style? It could be. I haven't seen. I did order one of the big dragons. I'm waiting for. Like I said, they're going to do the Kickstarter ended about a month ago, so we're waiting for the pledge manager to close. I did the first Kickstarter, which is where I got these from, and they've since designed a new binder. This binder sucks, and then these black pages make it difficult to see everything. So they've got they're going to have red or white binders, I think, but they're actually going to be more like a box, and the inlays, these sheets will sit in the box and be a little more. So I ordered a couple of those and a couple of extra as well. They were charging like $17 for the binder, which is a little steep, but I get it. So and they're very specific. So yeah, the Dave, that makes their art much better. I think we are all sick of seeing the same WotC art show up 5 to 12 times in their products. Yeah, I can see that. So yeah, that's flat plastic miniatures and skinny minis. I'm a big fan of them. Obviously, the entry cost is a lot cheaper than buying your 3D, plastic miniatures, and then of course the storage space. I got, I don't know, probably 40 miniatures in that little binder right there, and then those 2 more binders up there that are, medium-sized creatures and some small. So yeah, it's and look, I got 3 binders now. Like I said, the second Kickstarter just ended. So once the pledge manager gets into place and everything, we can order extra binders. I'm probably going to order some extra binders.
Can you say that again?
Somehow Alexa just kicked off. There it goes, turned off. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I can't wait to get the new binders. David, Mr. David, what's going on, sir? Dave is an awesome GM that I have played in his game, and he's played in one of mine. So David is a super cool guy, and he's also a meanie. So can't go wrong there. Oh, he says he missed the second Kickstarter, unfortunately. Yeah, man. I wish you could have got in on it. There's a lot of cool stuff. I'm very happy. We're just waiting for the pledge manager to finish up, and then we'll be able to go in and pick our sets. And they've got some cool stuff coming. So, and then they've also announced on the Skinny Mini side, they've announced a monthly subscription plan. I'm not going to participate in it because, unfortunately, they're based out of California, I think, and they do DHL to USPS, the U.S. Postal Service. And unfortunately, I have Porch Pirates, and you can't, unless you want to pay for a postal box, which is about $30 a month, which I think is highway robbery. I can't get my packages held. There's no standing order. The Dave says, great name, David seems. Yeah, so, unfortunately, I'm not going to participate in it because I've had such a hard time getting my Dungeons in a Box. You see those 2 boxes in that blue box right there? Those are all Dungeons in a Box. And I did the Pathfinder subscription. And, so unfortunately, my last 2 boxes for October and November I didn't get because the post office is an idiot and can't find out where to deliver. And so, because I have them delivered to my work because my home, I suffer from porch pirates, unfortunately. So they don't always strike. Like yesterday, my Colonial Marines book was sitting there waiting for me, and I was right on my steps. But every once in a while, a package disappears, and sometimes I order some expensive electronics and stuff, and I don't want them stolen. So yeah, it's just got to be careful. So we got 10 people watching. So if you're in the stream and you're watching, pop in and say hi. It means a lot, and then I can know who's watching. So, and again, I'm on Discord. I'll put links all down in the doobly-doo. That's brutal. I think my P.O. box is $60 for 12 months. I thought it'd be consistent by the size of the P.O. box. I think it is, Ovaltine. I think it is. And I think they'll hold, the problem is I don't have a problem with because see, porch pirates, they're stupid, and they don't think that stealing boxes is a federal crime. They say as long as they're not touching your mail, your physical mail, like your envelopes and stuff, they think that it's okay. Yes, the Dave, when we get the new house, hopefully that will not be a problem anymore, which I'm hoping. Because one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lock box on my porch. They sell, Amazon sells them, and then you can buy I think you can get them at Costco even. It's basically a keyed box that locks, and I'm going to bolt it down to my porch or my driveway, whatever I have to do. I'm going to permanently attach it, and then what you do is you just give your postman a key, and then you got to go to the post office and fill out a form and everything, but that's fine. That's worth it. And then what they do is they just take that key on their route, and then they use it and put your packages in there, and you give one to UPS and everything like that, and so you don't have to worry. And I think they make combination ones as well, so that's probably what I'll do. And then I won't have to worry about it. Or what we might even do is when we move, we might just do the UPS store and get a box there. I think the UPS store is a little bit cheaper than the post office, and so that'll be our plan. But who knows? We'll see. There's a lot of options. I kind of like the idea of not having to go to a tertiary place or a secondary place to get my products. I would like it to just be delivered to my front door. They put it in a box, and I open the box and get it out, and I don't have to worry about it. The problem is we live in northern Minnesota where we get, blizzard-type events. So, therefore, do you want that stuff sitting out and exposed to the weather? Books and stuff doesn't really matter unless the box leaks. So now you have to make sure it's a weatherproof box and, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, what else is going on, guys? You guys have to talk to me. I'm done with babbling. I don't know what else to go over. I have too many cool things in my little room here, and it's like getting packed. I don't have much room for anything else. So, whatever you guys, David, what games you're running? Hopefully we can get back to our Fallout game here soon, maybe after the holidays. Coco's in the house. Woohoo! Thanks for the distraction, Mr. Mean. I have professional reading. I'm avoiding procrastinating 103. Check what's streaming on the YouTubes. Well, I'm glad I could provide a professional distraction for you, Coco.
It's snowing.
Oh, my wife just informed me that it's snowing. Woohoo! We've been dying for. I'm a snow bunny. I love the snow. And this year the snow came late. Normally by this time of the year we have snow. Ovaltine, I'm trying to think of industry babble. Have you covered the Paizo workers unionization? I have not. That's a pretty hot topic. That falls borderlines on politics. I finished up the Savage Worlds Pathfinder game last night. I was a player. Trade Winds books are starting to arrive at people's homes. That is awesome. The Dave put out, he's a publisher, and he put out a very cool book of Trade Winds, which is, you can use it in any fantasy game. It's specifically made for low fantasy gaming, which if you haven't checked out low fantasy gaming, I highly recommend. And if you do pick up low fantasy gaming because you think it's awesome, go check my review down in the library. Then you're going to want to pick up Trade Winds because it's a phenomenal book. But here's the thing. Trade Winds will work with any fantasy game. So, or even some post-apocalyptic games, because there's bows and arrows in those games. So it's a pretty cool book. Go get it. I have the lovely PDF copy that the Dave sent me for review. And we have to still do an interview, Dave. So don't think you're getting out of that. David... Mr. Seams, Savage Worlds Pathfinder game. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? I got to play it at Gamehole Con, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was really impressed with how fluid it seemed. And Dave says he's envious. He loves the snow. Yeah, I'm right there with you, buddy. I normally, if I wasn't online with you guys, I would be downstairs playing in the snow right now, and you can ask my wife on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, but my wife is on Facebook. You can ask my wife. Every year I go down when we get our first decent snowfall, and I write, "Yay, snow," in the driveway. So, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm a big kid. I'm a 54-year-old kid, obviously, as you can see all my toys. Oh, you're welcome, Dave. Anytime, dude. Those that don't know, or if you're new to the channel, one of the things that I strive to do is to uplift and support the indie community. Doesn't matter what kind of game you run. All games are fun. There's a niche, however you want to say it, out there for everybody. And what may not be your cup of tea is somebody else's. And so I like to highlight, there's 1,001 YouTube channels promoting D&D or Pathfinder exclusively. I like to support the little games like Slay, Low Fantasy Gaming, Mutants and Masterminds, all that kind of stuff. The Dark Eye, it's another huge favorite of mine. So, yeah. But let's go back to Ovaltine's thing. I am a Toys R Us kid. Yes, I grew up in that generation. The Pathfinder unionization. Say that 5 times fast. I'm all for it. I think there needs to be a union. There needs to be a writers guild or some sort of unionization for game designers and game writers. I've heard of writers being paid as low as 2 cents a word, which, that's highway robbery. It's just crazy to me that writers don't make the money that they should. Just same thing with teachers. I think teachers are underpaid, and so are policemen. I was a federal agent for 10 years, and I can tell you, working in the I don't want to grow up. Trust me, Dave, I'm growing out, as you can see. I'm growing out, but I'm not growing up. I refuse. I'm 12 years old inside of here, buddy, and I'm staying that way. So the unionization of Paizo's workers, I think, is a good thing, and I honestly think it was a political move on Paizo and the employees to take some of the heat off of the allegations that were flying around about sexual harassment and everything else that was going on in the Paizo environment. And it's a shame that stuff happens, but we all know it is. Ovaltine says, I'm not familiar with per word rates. I don't know, Dave, or maybe some of the other publishers on here, if there's any on here, can answer that. Yeah, Dave says 2 cents a word is not gross. Yeah, it's gross. Yeah. I think, what, 8 cents a word? Dave, does that sound right? I know Jay from Feral Games Inc. Offered me, I think, 7 or 8 cents a word to write an adventure, and I dropped the ball on him, and I owe him a huge apology. I was supposed to write an adventure for Stranded, which was his homage to sci-fi games. Most of us are growing out. Amen, brother. Amen. So yeah, but I just don't have the time. Those that don't run a YouTube channel, you wouldn't believe how much work it takes. And obviously, like right now, we've been online for 2 hours now. We started at 5:30. It is now 7:30. Obviously, while I'm doing this, I can't really do anything else. So people say they can multitask. That's a crock of shit. Nobody can. You can't do two things at once. You're physically incapable for an extended period of time. I can drink a cup of coffee and talk to you, but I'm not doing them both at the same time. I'm taking intermittent breaks to do one or the other. So anyway, yeah. And then, I don't edit my videos too much. I do edit them a little bit, but mostly I just record in the raw. But even then, you got to take the time to upload and everything. I bought a new laptop to do that. So it's not even cheap. I mean, I've got, I'd say close to $2,000 invested in my setup, and I have not the best setup in the world. I mean, I have two 32-inch, TCL TVs that I use as monitors just because I have bad vision, and so this takes a lot of eye strain off of me. They're Roku enabled TVs, so that's kind of cool, but I don't use them for that. And I have a Mac Mini, and then I have a Asus Republic of Gamers Zephyrus laptop, 2020 version. It's a 14-inch gaming laptop that I bought beginning of the summer when I got my new job. And I got it as a Best Buy as an open box deal. It was normally I think it was about a $1,400 laptop, and I got it for after everything was said and done. I got it for $1,000. So I felt $400 off was good, and it plays any video game I want to play right now. And I'm more of an Xbox gamer, so I do most of my gaming on the Xbox. But I play New World, I play Star Wars, The Old Republic on here, the MMO. So it plays those games just fine, and I have no problems with it. So it works great. And then my Mac Mini is just amazing. I'm a huge Mac guy. I have an iPad Pro that I use sometimes for record. Like when I was at Gamehole Con, I used the MacBook Pro to record a video there of the things I did. And then I just picked up a Mac Mini at Costco yesterday, or Thursday, and I'm thoroughly happy with it. It is... If you're on the fence about the iPad Mini, get off the fence, go buy one. It is totally worth it. And with the new M1 chip in it, it's going to be relevant for quite a while. Yeah, Ovaltine, tell us about your latest gaming acquisitions. That's kind of what our channel is about. The Dave. Most freelance writers go between 10 cents and $1 a word, depending on what they are working on. If you're doing it for a favor and you're unheard of, you might get as low as 5 cents. Yeah. So there you go. So Jay was giving me a good rate at 7 cents a word, I think, which is awesome. Man, I told him I would do it for free, and then I dropped the ball. I never did it, so kind of my bad. But let's see. I'm trying to see. And I will say the other cool thing about the iPad Mini is it works with the pencil. So we have 10 people watching right now, so that's awesome. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. We got 2 thumbs up. So if you're actually watching the stream, go ahead and click that thumbs up. And like I said, it helps the channel a lot. Greasing the algorithms for YouTube. And I think we're up to 971 subscribers, so that's awesome. So if you're in the stream and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps the channel out a lot. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by January 1st, which would be awesome. Ovaltine, what new games did you get? We have an awesome, cool game store in the cities in Minneapolis called The Source. And it's a huge, they have everything multimedia, like they have comic books, or gaming media, I guess I should say. They have comic books, they have board games, they have miniature games, they have card games, and then, of course, they have role-playing games. Their library is almost as big as mine. That's a bad joke, by the way. Al-Qadim is awesome. I've been backfilling my 2nd edition D&D collection. I got the complete Book of Elves, the Al-Qadim City of Delights box set, and the Storm Riders Adventure module this week. Dude, that is awesome. So I assume if you're looking for the old stuff, then you're quite familiar with Noble Knight. I actually got to go to their physical store in Madison, Wisconsin when I was at the convention last month. And let me tell you, what a cool game store. They actually have a physical retail outlet. And then, of course, they do everything online. And they had space to play. Like, there were some kids in there playing Magic, and then there was a separate room where they have, like, a big discount room. It was pretty much stuff that was all beat to shit. But, you know, if you're looking for that weird thing, you know, it might have been there, and you can get it usually at a really discounted price. I picked up Bare Bones Fantasy while I was there. They were at the convention. They were at Gamehole Con. They had a booth, and I went in there and asked them, and they said, no, we don't have it here, but we have it in the store. And so I ran over there. I got the address, and it was like 10 minutes away. It wasn't far at all. And I went over there, and I picked up Bare Bones Fantasy. And I'm telling you, Bare Bones Fantasy is solid. If you want a generic fantasy setting, the game I played in was the guy based it off of Skyrim, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. The Dave, we have Gabby's Olympic Cards and Comics. It's a hands down the best game store on the West Coast. Gabby is an absolute treasure to our community. That's awesome. Ovaltine, I want to make the pilgrimage to Noble Knight, but I need the spreadsheet, my collection, to maximize the opportunity. Yeah. I actually was thinking about looking. I know there's a book collector app for like the iPad and the iPhone, and I'm tempted to get that. But then I look at this 8-foot tall, 5 feet wide bookshelf behind me, and it's absolutely packed. And I think, do I want to spend the time cataloging all of that? No, I don't. And so consequently, I can tell you more than once I've bought duplicates of games I own because I wasn't sure I owned it or not, and I bought it. And, you know, you can't really take it back once you buy it. And Ovaltine says that he does order from Noble Knight's store, Noble Knight's eBay store, however. Yeah. I don't know if you know, but their website's been overhauled, and you can order directly from their website. So I would imagine on eBay you're probably getting it for a little bit of a discount, though, because it's eBay. But, yeah. So, what else is going on? So you got Al-Qadim. Yeah, that's an awesome. I'm an Eberron guy. I love the 3.5 Eberron. I think it's probably one of the best settings they've ever done. I wasn't a huge Greyhawk fan. I wasn't a Forgotten Realms, although I do have 4th edition books because they were so well done. I'm just checking email to see if there's anything new in the old fronts of the email. What else, guys? Give me something. Let's talk about something. Anything else? I know it's hard to. What do you guys think about going to a live chat where we maybe I open up a room on Discord and we just do a video chat on Discord and I record it through OBS? Would anybody be down for that? And you could join via audio if you don't have a camera or you don't want to be on camera. I'm surprised how many people don't like doing video. It's amazing because I go to run games on Foundry and I'm like, oh, I'm going to record this for my channel, and they're like, nope, I'm out. I don't want to be recorded. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I don't know, maybe they're closet gamers and they don't want their spouse or their loved ones to know they're playing. I don't know. Or some people may not be happy with their face or their looks or whatever. I mean, I get that. I believe my 3rd edition collection is complete, at least in terms of books. I have a grotesque amount of third-party stuff as well. Awesome. Well, Ovaltine, you should definitely get on the Discord. That was my son running by, screaming. You should get on the Discord there if you're not already and chat with everybody there. Our Discord community is pretty solid. I don't know where Nasser went. Did Nasser dump out? I'm going to post a picture of my current project in the Discord. Oh, Dave, that'd be awesome, dude. And like I said, this goes too for anybody who has any publisher friends or game designer friends. Mr. Mean will happily review your product and even give you some airtime to talk about your product if that's what you want. Ovaltine, is it... can you hook up an external mic and do it? And also, just so you know, you can do blah, 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 blah. Words. They're easy. You can do Discord from your phone where you can record and talk at the same time. So just so you know, that is an option, and it actually works quite well. I've done it a couple of times. It actually works pretty well. Of course, the audio is not going to be that great because most phones don't have great audio. I have an iPhone 10, the big one, the 10 XL or whatever it is. I don't even know. Oh, it's over here charging, and it works great. So, so for whatever that's worth, I don't know what kind of phone you have, or you could do it from your iPad or your tablet as well. Same thing. You can install Discord on those devices. I use Discord on both of my tablets all the time. I love it. What else, guys? Yeah. So we'll definitely. The other thing I want to bring back is. Tower House has to hit the road. Thank you so much. I'll catch up on the Discords in the future. Elton, thank you, sir. Again, it was a pleasure, and thank you so much. It was nice of you to support the channel. I really appreciate it. Guys, go check out Tower House Games, towerhouse.com. He makes a fate die. It's pretty cool. It's a standard D20 with some stuff on it. Go check it out. We talked about it earlier in the stream, so if you're just now tuning in, once this gets uploaded to YouTube, you can zip back. He's also on Etsy as well, and I believe eBay. Ovaltine says he's gone on a lot of road trips. The laptop's pretty beat up. Man, I totally understand that. I'm down for a hot cup of coffee too there, Dave. All right, head back out to the shop. I get you, man. I did join the Discord. Oh, thank you, Ovaltine. Are you under the same name or a different name? Oh, Wiki Snapper. Those. He's not in here. The boxes are for Magic the Gathering decks. He just posted in my Discord. So I have a couple different channels just for everybody. I have Let's Talk About RPGs, which is about all, obviously tabletop games. Then I have the PC or console games, which is just that, consoles and PC games. The Art is the Mini, which is all about like miniature, because I play a lot of miniature games. And then we have publisher announcements, which is for all my publisher friends. And then my YouTube channel, which is my internal channel that I just post. Same name. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for. There he is. I see you, sir. I'll have to wave hi. There you go. I've waved hi. So hopefully everybody there will give you a big warm welcome. Who are not in their games. Thank you for joining, sir. The Dave is Wiki Snapper. That's right, Dave. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm a dummy. But yeah, cool Magic the Gathering boxes. I have one that I use for my dice. I picked it up at Hobby Lobby. Yeah, I picked it up at Hobby Lobby. It looks like a treasure chest. It's small. It's about maybe 10, 12 inches. It's kind of hard here. About 10, 12 inches and, about 8 inches tall. And it's like a little pirate chest. It opens up, has a little latch. It's pretty cool. I picked it up for like $6, $7. And I've had it for years. It's made the move with me through many states. But it holds all my dice because, I'm a gamer. I can never have enough dice. Let's see. Dave, get back to work, sir. Enjoy that cup of coffee. I think I'm probably I'm not going to join you because I'm out of coffee creamer and I cannot drink black coffee. I can't stand it. But I got my Costco lemonade here, which is quite tasty. And hopefully that blue snowball microphone picked up all that chugging. Big fan of Modifius. Love the Modifius products. Star Trek. I've got I got this a while back, and I don't think I did a review of it yet. This uses an abridged version of the 2D20 system, but it's still the 2D20 system. Character creation was a little different in this game. Not bad. I didn't have any negative thoughts on it. The book is beautifully laid out. The art is fantastic. They did it in conjunction with Arcane, which is the the publisher of, I believe, the video game. And this is really nice. But this is one of those niche games. How many people even know this is a game, aside from, a video game? So I think it's cool Modiphius did it, and I love it. I love the digest size. It's, you throw this in a book bag and off you go. But how many people am I going to get to play this, So, But what else is going on, guys? I think we're probably I think we'll wrap it up at 8 o'clock. We'll have been on here for 2.5 hours, or 3 hours, almost 3.5 hours. 5:30, yeah, 2.5 hours. I can do math, really, I can. I don't know of anything else to go on about. My son's having a blast in there. I'm going to go spend some family time. Maybe we'll watch a movie. I did watch, the new Marvel, 10 Rings? Is that what it is? Shang-Chi? I enjoyed it. It was fun. I did go and see the Eternals last Friday on my day off. Wasn't too impressed with that one. It was okay. I'm glad I saw it on the big screen. But to be honest, I think I would have enjoyed it more sitting in my living room. I have a nice big comfy couch. I have a 65-inch QLED TV with surround sound. I think I would have enjoyed it. There's my little man.
Dad, you gonna go down for a nap?
No, I'm not going to go down for a nap. You're going to go to bed soon. He just told me I'm going down for a nap. I know I'm old, but geez. I picked that up too, says David. Seems I've wanted to play their version of Flash Gordon. Flesh Gordon, you know where my mind is. Love Sword and Planet stuff. Yeah, same here, man. I know what you meant. You meant John Carter. That's the only Modiphius game I don't like. Legend of the Ten Rings. Thank you, Ovaltine. I couldn't brain fart. But I watched it this morning on Disney Plus, and I got to say, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I kind of wish it was a little bit longer because I think towards the end they rushed it, but I get it. But it was still fun. What you got? Oh, you got a cookie? No, I don't want any. Thank you. You're just wired up. My son is. He's at that stage where he should be in bed right now, and so his mind is physically fatigued. So he's just being outright silly. People have been saying that Eternal suffers from having 10 protagonists that have no prior intros into other movies. Yeah, that I would give it that. My biggest concern going into the movie was Angelina Jolie. I thought she was going to be a screen hog, and the movie was going to be all about her because, let's face it, she's kind of a diva. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean, it's Angelina Jolie. And she had her moment in the spotlight, and it wasn't overly done. I actually enjoyed it. I thought her role was really well done. The Asian chick that they show in the trailers is most of the screen time is her, which is fine. Like I said, I enjoyed it for what it was. It's a superhero movie. I get to see guys shooting laser beams out of their eyes. I'm happy. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty cool. So we'll see. And then Kit Harington, aka the Black Knight. Obviously you stay for the end of the credits, and there's always that little blurb they do at the end, And he had his little spotlight section, so that was kind of cool. But I would have been more happy to watch it at home on my big screen, my 65-inch QLED Samsung TV, because I didn't think it was worth. I mean, I only paid $11.25 at the theater, but still, I would have actually been happier to watch it on Disney Plus. But I'm glad it was nice to get out and go to a theater, if nothing else. So I did enjoy that part of it. And I brought some snacks with me because I refuse to pay those prices at the movie theater. I ain't paying $10 for a little tub of popcorn. That's ridiculous. But anyway, I get it. Some people, that's the experience. I get it. But I did enjoy myself. All things considered, it was worth it. So, and Shang-Chi was, like I said, Legend of the Ten Rings was really good. I just felt the ending was a little rushed. I would have liked about another 30 minutes of the movie to explain the big bad guy, because it's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I don't see where they made a reference to half the population disappearing at any time, but other than that, there was really no other Marvel thing. Well, there was actually the Hulk and Ms. Marvel were in there for just a brief cameo. And then there was a scene with the Abomination, which made sense, and Wong from Doctor Strange. So, all right. Thanks, David. You have a good weekend, too. I'm not up on the comic book lore, but I didn't think Black Knight was an Eternal. though he was a British member of the Avengers with a cursed sword. You are absolutely correct. He is not a member of the Eternals, but they're looping it in because remember the Marvel universe is divergent from the Marvel comic book universe. They are not exactly the same. So, yeah, you got to be aware of that. So, yeah. So, don't think your comic book knowledge is 100% accurate when it comes to the Marvel universe. David, you have a great night, sir. Thanks for popping in and saying hi. I appreciate it. Looks like he popped out because I see now there's only 9 people watching. So, I think we're going to wrap it up, guys. I don't have too much more to talk about. Ovaltine Patrol, thanks for joining the Discord and everything. Great chatting with you. Chupa, if you're still there. The nice part is with the OBS, I can scroll up and see who else was in the chat. Let's see here. The Dave, I don't know if the Dave is still on. Coco B, I'm not sure if you're still on. I think you might have dropped. But anyway, a big thanks to everybody for popping in and saying hi. Reef, Arkond, and Mikey and Chupa and Sean, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoyed their time. And like I said, we may or may not do the chatting with Mr. Mean on Sunday morning. I'm not quite sure. Depends on how I feel when I wake up. But we might do a quick morning chat for maybe 30, 40 minutes. We'll see how late I stay up because I might watch some more movies. Chupa! So we might do the morning chat. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But thank you, everybody, for hanging out with me. Like I said, I was just not a little bored, but I just wanted to do something. So thanks, Chupa. Thanks for I'm glad you had a great time. Ovaltine Patrol, thanks for the stream. Have a good night, everyone. Yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for making it worth I do this for you guys. So you make it when you interact and you give a like and stuff like that. It means a lot and it makes it fun. So thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed your time. And as always, peace and hair grease. And remember, Mr. Mean says be nice. Have a good night, everybody.